and welcome to The Hill is Always Greener, a show where four friends have chill discussions and sometimes get a little bit creative about Sonic the Hedgehog to distract themselves from the inevitable passage of time, their own rapidly waning ability to relate to the youth, and the trademarks and copyrights on all creative endeavors and characters within the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise that we all own. TM. Tim. That's it's a good name. No, it's not. We can't call it. We can't call it. Give them a normal. Anyway, so we're getting off track. We're here for our. What is it? The third anniversary episode? Oh God!
Goodness!
Yeah.
And in true tradition of what we do when we have an anniversary, we do it's just whatever topic we had in mind at the time. But we are doing something different this time because we've all got together to flex our creative muscles all over the place. It's going to be great and fun, but we should probably introduce ourselves before we get to it. Hi, I'm Faulerro.
I'm RockTheJake.
I'm CyberLink.
And I'm GameBuddy.
And today, we are going to create life!
Yes. I also want to mention that the third anniversary, the traditional gift is leather, so Jeremy, calm yourself.
Man, only 3 years in, huh?
So we're going to put a leather jacket on whatever we're about to create.
Well, someone's gonna by the time we're done with this anyway. So this time, like I said, we're getting creative. We're creating life from nothingness or just from a podcast because we're going to create our own Sonic the Hedgehog original character.
Woo!
We just got done talking about an original character, and now we're talking about our own original character because that's what we're doing. It's OC time. Oh, I love making OCs, and sometimes Sonic ones as well.
Yeah, like as somebody who did create an OC back in the day and that is best left in the vault, I am super excited to dive in deep on this because I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't remember if I made an OC back in the day, but I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, I can't remember what it was.
I think I've briefly talked about, I was very much the epitome of, I don't know if you'd call it uncreative. I think it was more like I was not uncreative. I was living higher like a Sonic fan should, where all of my OCs were like directly related and involved with the canon cast. So it was like, no, he's Sonic's best friend or something like that. And then I think I had a couple other OCs that were barely Sonic characters, and then I've kind of had nothing for a while. I have one that I remember coming up with right before Sonic Forces came out that I'd like to flesh out eventually, but no, today is about creating. We are collaborating. We're just going to be like Black Doom and Professor Gerald and throwing all of our DNA into one green vat of goo and creating the ultimate life.
It is kind of good because like we were talking about like creating OCs when we were younger. My first set of Sonic OCs was collaborative because I made it alongside my uncle, who was actually just a few years older than me, I think. So, that kind of uncle. And we made a couple of flying squirrel characters called Jazzy and Jazoo, and I don't know why.
Oh, cool.
They were brothers, and but for some reason they were flying squirrels that came from Earth and were brought over and turned into Mobians by Grimer, because I was reading Sonic the Comic. And that's the majority of which I'm willing to divulge on this podcast right now. So.
Was Jazzy a DJ and did he hang out with Will Smith back in the day?
No. Yeah, and he was thrown out of the house every week by Uncle Phil the
Harmonic.
Yes. Oh, that actually sounds vague. Maybe. Anyway.
That is a vaguely Sonic-y name. And then, most of the people in this call already know my deal.
I mean, It's right there in your username. CyberLink the
Hedgeborg?
Hedge cyborg?
Yeah.
Cyborg
I don't remember all the details of his backstory, but I remember it was very stupid. Mm-hmm. I was 13. I can excuse stupidity at that age.
We were actually joking before we started that my whole shtick is like a Sonic OC because of the in
Yeah.
my name.
I know you're
Yeah.
RockTheJake. I know you could swap it around. You could either be Jake the Rock and be some kind of like, some cool like a pangolin or a something with armor, or switch around the RockTheJake and be a, I don't know, what kind of animal is a Jake? That's got to be out there somewhere. There's got to be some Australian animal named a Jake.
I think we had a guest once who was just like, so is he a rock or is he a Jake? And I was like, yes.
Exactly.
Apparently a Jake is a young male wild turkey.
Well, there you go.
All right.
RockTheJake.
So I was going to say the other thing I came up with was the largest kangaroo ever caught was named Big Jake.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's the name of the kangaroo mouse from Rescuers Down Under, is also Jake.
Oh, cool.
That's a movie I haven't thought about in a very long time.
Never mind. Too much of it.
So it's like that, huh?
I was going to talk about the, everybody knows Disney's Robin Hood, but also Rescuers Down Under. No, for another
I think
time.
people remember that more than the actual original Rescuers.
Oh,
I know I
100%.
did.
Oh,
It came out when I was
100%.
younger.
100%.
And it looks a lot better. And you see that eagle in it. It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
This is what you came here to listen to, by the way, folks. I'm sure of it. Our opinions on other furry franchises.
Franchises, if you will.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes.
Which is why the first thing we're going to pick is how large our characters' breasts and genitals will be.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure that will develop naturally as it goes.
Yeah.
I know what I said. I know what I said.
How large is the pitch that they tent? Wait, other way. Yeah, wait.
Pitch the tent.
No,
when you original character.
We're going to have to determine where on the furry scale we are with these characters. But if it's an official Sonic OC, I guess we've got to follow certain guidelines. It all depends on how we choose what we choose to
all
take.
I'm saying is that there is a non-zero possibility that this character will result in either fan art or me commissioning a model to insert into a Sonic game. So tread carefully.
Oh, it's absolutely going to end up in one of those mods for Mario 64.
Oh,
I'm
for
sure
sure.
of it.
Oh, man. That'll give us a good excuse to get that running.
Yeah. Hey, AE Double, if you're listening, you have a mission now.
Yeah, I love it when we've got like artist friends and we're like, are you willing to do stuff for free for us? Thanks. Because AEW will, that's the problem.
I will send him a gift card. I don't want him to do this for free, but he'll probably be like, no, that's okay.
So we have come up with a handful of different, attributes and, characteristics about the character that we're going to use to kind of build them out. So I think it makes sense to just start right at the very, very core, most basic thing. What kind of animal do we want it to be?
If an animal.
True. I
be a
think
rock.
recent Sonic medias, including official games like Superstars and all that, has really opened the door for, man, you can do just about any species you can think of and still fit them into the Sonic
for sure.
character mold.
You can have robots too. You can have AIs apparently.
Which does beg the question, do we want it to be a different animal from any of the canon characters? Or do we want to do the typical OC thing of, what's already been done?
Yeah, because aside from the core cast, it's just what I'm saying. Like, even I remember when Jewel the Beetle showed up in IDW, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's so cool. You don't see many of those characters, forgetting that, like, Charmy Bee has been a character since the 90s. Like, oh, you can have insects and reptiles. And I remember when Archie did the mermobiles, the sharks, the whales, that just blew my mind because all those designs were so good and like, oh, that's fantastic. Like, I come a long way from
The Down Under Freedom Fighters.
old
yes,
old Archie
freedom
side.
fighters.
Precisely. Just having a clam and a non-anthro dolphin. I'm like, okay, well, we can try a little harder.
Could do extinct animals too. We could do a mammoth and dress them up in a kingpin suit, and they're really cool and have lived into the beginning of time.
See that and the leather
And then you
jacket.
punch them in the dick.
You're gonna get multiple old Archie artists trying to sue us.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I've got this cool idea for an echidna.
Oh, no.
Called Mary Sue.
Oh. She's pink and she loves Knuckles, and her grandfather is literally Robot Hitler. I mean, yeah, we could also, I would argue, since the, not only Archie, but also the Martin Adams novels, like, cryptozoological species are on the table.
That's true.
Dragons, your big feets.
Go on.
Your small feet.
Okay. Delineating not a cryptozoological animal, but also dinosaurs. I wonder.
Dinosaurs are really cool.
I know, right?
And that's really embracing a sort
Why
of
do you think
kid
they put them
spirit.
back in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Went and rehired those T-Rexes from Secret Rings.
That's what people are asking for from Secret Rings.
I played the Crossworlds beta. It was pretty good. I hope they turn the items down and put IDW characters in it.
That'd be cool.
It's about as much insight as I can give you. I'm sorry. It was fun. I hope it's better once it's released in a good
Sonic
way.
Prime characters, and you live with it.
Yeah, I mean, they already had that planned. So
Yeah.
I was a good boy and filled out my post-play survey and was very professional about it. So
You were like, fire Ian Flynn, like all Sonic
no,
fans.
I was more like, the game's not really fun when the races are only like 2.5 minutes long and I'm being hit with one of the 30 different items you have in the game like every 2 seconds. So let's balance that out a little bit.
But speaking of races, we do need to pick an animal species for this.
I want to bring up, I looked up like a list of cryptids. Okay, so Google's weird. Because
shit.
Yeah.
Complete unfunctioning dog shit. Yes.
Yeah, because of course they've
Sorry.
got they've got Bigfoot, Jersey Devil, Chupacabra, stuff like that. But then apparently there's also cryptids like the Komodo dragon and gorilla and kangaroo. And platypus.
Are they going like, were they originally considered cryptids? Like the guy who caught and who stuffed a platypus and sent it home to England, and they're like, good one, Jerry. You've made this in, you faker. That's not a real thing.
Oh, it's the next jackalope, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. We could do a jackalope.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think of animals we
Josiah
haven't
the
really
jackalope.
seen in Sonic yet. Like, have we? I don't think we've had any like big cats in Sonic. Like, haven't been
like an official Sonic media.
outside of maybe a couple of extras in comics or cartoons. We don't have any like really prominent, lions, tigers, cheetahs, leopards.
Or bears. Oh no, we have our bears. Sorry.
Because, there is, of course, Big the cat, but Big himself, if anything, Big's a Fisher cat, but then his ears are too big. I think he's just a big tabby.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like jungle
like a
cats.
big Maine Coon. Yeah, because Blazes also seems like a quote-unquote, a smaller cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to call Blaze domestic. She's royalty.
She cannot be tamed.
I thought about cheetah, but then I'm like, oh,
I was going to say cheetah. That's a bit too
Well,
obvious.
it is, but also like we got to be real careful with that one, or else we're just going to reinvent the Cheetah Man again.
I know we do have a history of the Cheetah Men, and
really cool.
Man, I just saw some other conglomerate I think bought the Cheetah Men before we could. I'm so mad.
I'm just biding my time.
We need a cool cheetah mascot who's got sunglasses and specifically eats cheese puff snacks. Anyway,
Chester Cheetah literally appeared in the Archie comics. So
Yeah.
as the director of that's such a stupid issue. They're filming a like State of the Union. Oh, sorry, that's very American of me. No, it's like the King's Address from King Acorn, and the director is Chester Cheetah. And then like halfway through, Eggman takes it over and talks about like how he mind controlled the king, and so everyone's like, man, the king's kind of a giant pussy. I hate him, and you're supposed to feel bad for him.
Gee, sorry, that was during the time when they just did that. Like the time when Crow and Tom Servo showed up in that noir strip that they
I mean, we could also just do a cheetah who's like a super youthful character that's always trying to prove himself, and he says catchphrases like "Ultra Gear" or something. But yeah, that's a stretch.
How do we feel about either ligers or Tigons?
Ligers are notoriously unhealthy.
I know, but fits totally in with like the logic of a Sonic OC. You know, we didn't really talk about the history of Sonic OCs, but I'm just remembering like, okay, back in the day, somebody slaps up a BMP they made in MS Paint and says, "This is my character, blank the Tygon." I'd be like, oh, they're so fucking smart. I'd never come up with something cool like
I mean, a lot of people back in the day when they were making their OCs just went with the species that already existed because it's like, oh, I can just recolor existing character sprites and it's my OC now.
And I can make a comic out of that, just recoloring these guys and...
Shut up, stop blowing up my spot. Me and Jez have moved on.
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely never copied other people's banner images in their forum posts and just tweaked them slightly to be my own
Of course
thing.
not.
Oh, you know, you just said we don't have an example of a lion, but there is the Kimba ass looking dude from that one episode of Sonic X.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
I know, right? I remember when he showed up and people were freaking out because it's an original character. But I mean, it's just Kimba.
A little bit.
Or the Kimba by way of the those Japanese baseball mascots.
Yeah. So jungle cats definitely seem like they are on the table. Are there any other species that are a little underrepresented we think we could do something with?
You got my mind going earlier about possibly extinct animals.
Yeah, like the Tasmanian tiger, the relatively recently extinct animal we still have video of.
man.
Oh.
He's got, I don't know. The Tasmanian tiger's almost looks like a big, like, roided out greyhound to me. Although I could see getting real fun with, like, a big, like, long snout. Kind of like you can do with Fang sometimes.
But Tasmanian tigers do bring to mind Ty, the Tasmanian
That's true.
tiger.
Yeah. Gotta be careful.
Who once put Sonic the Hedgehog in the hospital, so we don't like him here.
I do remember that, yeah.
I remember that commercial / magazine ad making me mad as a child. Because I was like, no, that wouldn't happen.
Maybe what might help us decide is if we come up with some, attributes to our character in terms of like their personality or abilities or whatever, and then we can work backwards from there.
Yeah, let's come back to that. I like the tiger, the Tygon idea though, just because yes, jungle cats are underrepresented, and also I think that his big like classic Sonic OC energy is picking a species your average 12-year-old wouldn't have heard of.
There is something about picking like really unusual rare ones, because how would we have known what an echidna is if not for Knuckles?
That's true.
Yeah, good point.
God, I mean, okay, speaking of underrepresented, but then in a post-Friendship is Magic world, there's no Sonic horse character that I can think of aside from Sir Connery.
Sir Connery.
Yeah, ungulates in general.
Well, I guess, do we want this to be a good character or an evil character? Or a morally ambiguous character?
Ooh. I would consider ourselves, our podcast as a whole, as chaotic neutral.
That's true.
Oh man, what if we just adopted Simpson from STC as our mascot?
Oh, Lord. That would be a pull.
Now, basically, listening audience who aren't familiar with Simpson the cat, think Felix the cat.
Yeah, we will get to Simpson eventually, but
oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we want this to be literally a mascot OC of the podcast, I think maybe we should stick to them being relatively faithful to like current Sonic characters. So Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would call our OC evil, like a Dr. Starline evil. Or
maybe it is that
mimic.
like the character, they're not some big hero. They're just kind of just a dude, and things keep happening to them in that sort of like, you know, Impossible Crisis style way, or Incredible Crisis style way, where they just are trying to live their life, and they also live in this world where, you know, Eggman is attacking every other day and getting like, there's these big elaborate battles. It's just like, bro, I am just trying to finish my coffee for the morning.
I don't know why I'm thinking immediately like a personality combination of Sam and Max, like regular dude, but also he gets a little silly with it when the, like you said, when the crisis calls.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little dude.
I was gonna say, how little do we want this dude to be?
Yeah.
That's an important
because that's
actually.
also going to, you know, affect what animal we go with.
See, now I'm kind of going back to the Tygon but I like picturing a character who's maybe of regular Sonic height, but maybe just like you said, Jungle Cat. Maybe he's a little top heavy, and I'm saying I'm just being in general here. We have not committed to an expression for our character.
Regardless, it will be a little guy. Doesn't matter what
I hope everyone understands that what we mean by that. Maybe a little top heavy, like not Popeye arms, but you know, a jungle cat that's you know, in captivity, so maybe they're not in fantastic shape,
but they can still run around and play.
Yeah, not like a Tommy Thunder.
No, I was going to say Tommy Thunder, or like a Tumble, or a Bark the polar bear. Thinking of Sonic character body types.
Yeah. So maybe a little bit of that like inverted egg shape, but not so much. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Not full on boom knuckles.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of having like a taller character.
Mm-hmm. Just a little taller than the average.
Your average hedgehog.
Can still be a little guy though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't remember. I think now Knuckles is technically a teeny bit taller than Sonic.
Yeah, a smidge.
So is Shadow because of the quills.
He's always puffing them out.
I mean, that doesn't count. That's like, you know, having a mohawk and saying that gives you, you know, however many extra inches in your height.
Well, maybe it does. I mean, you don't know.
You're a little biased there to be making that judgment call.
What are you, the height police? Come on.
I can ride any of the roller coasters I want to. I've got a mohawk. We're having this thought of like the abnormals from Travis McElroy.
Yeah. Trying to keep it, yes, still Sonic adjacent, not full, yes, abnormals.
Would be very funny though if they were like a 90s character who had a favorite food type and had a catchphrase, and they were I don't know. That's just what brings to mind when you mention that.
Favorite food type like chili dogs, and a catchphrase like got a speed keyed.
Yeah, imagine that sort of character in the Sonic franchise.
Zippo the Tygon, and I love tikka masala.
Oh, hey, no, I'm actually...
Yeah.
I love kale. A giant jungle cat who is a vegetarian.
I'd kill for some kale, like his. Some sort of stupid catchphrase.
I think we're getting there. We're getting there.
But he says it in an accent, so he sounds like when he says kill, it sounds like kale. Kale for some kale, yeah.
I get my protein from beans.
Do we want to commit to him sounding like the announcer from Crazy Taxi? Hey, it's me. Who's ready for a nice salad?
Sega adjacent property.
I'm kind of wanting to commit to that now you've done it.
Come on in, I'll whip you up some shashuka.
Are we sure we're not making a Sonic Boom character?
I think some of this is too good to give up. I think we should commit to I like the stocky Tygon. I love I like the direction we're going in here.
Would you like a nice snack of mukamame? Okay, so we keep coming back to the Tygon. Do we all like the Tygon, or do we still want to keep it open?
I'm willing to commit to the Tygon.
I like that it's exotic, but is a real thing.
It does exist. But I didn't remember that it existed before we did this episode, so that kind of... I feel that's the sort of thing we want from a Sonic OC. It's like,
cool.
That's real. Okay.
And you know what? Cats on the internet, big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that SEO up.
Day.
Let's lock it in.
Yes.
All right, locked in. Tygon.
Oh yeah, I don't think we actually said, did we, that a Tygon is the offspring of a male tiger and a female lion, and usually, I think it's only happened in captivity, and in fact, they're usually unhealthy. And if you see one, it's probably because, I don't know, the Tiger King guy made them, and he should be. But yes, that is what a Tygon is.
Yeah, Tygons do not exceed the size of the parent species because they inherit growth inhibitory genes from both parents. So they don't. They're usually. They're
so
not
they
that
are.
big.
So they're little guys.
Yeah,
but
we're making a big guy.
Well,
he's a little guy in the inside, but
well, I was going to say they're a little guy, but they do have that bulk to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it says here like they do not exhibit any kind of dwarfism or miniaturization. They often weigh around 400 pounds.
But even then, we don't necessarily have to apply the real-life physics of the animal to the Sonic OC. Otherwise, we know what would happen to Knuckles the Echidna. So,
I like the fact that like it says here, male Tygons, like if they do have a mane, it's shorter and less noticeable than like what a male lion would have. So I like the idea of like a small mane that kind of surrounds the head.
I mean, we could always turn it into like his beard.
Oh, if he had a horrible bowl cut.
Oh, no.
Came down into a beard. No.
We already have a beetle. We don't need to make another one.
I'm Jewel the Beetle. I'm very stressed out.
I'm having a panic attack.
I want to hold your hand because I'm scared.
Mother Mary, I'm scared.
So glad that all the non-British people are doing the Liverpool accents here.
Okay.
Sorry, we're sorry. By the way, audience, we've all been, at least a few of us have been doodling general ideas for what this character should look like while we've been recording this, and Luke has showed an eyeless tiger looking.
Like just
dude.
kind of to get an idea of like what the main beard might, end up looking like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, I think a good starting point for putting hair on any Sonic character is just to look at 90s anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have hair on a Sonic character, I think you need to start there.
I think I want our homie just to have poofy mane hair.
I was gonna say, do we want it to be poofy mane hair, or do we want it to like sort of coalesce into like a weird hippie beard?
Well, here's the thing. I just was looking for Tygon mains, and look at this anime-looking motherfucker right here.
Oh.
Listen, audience, you can't, but look, he's got a very cool hairstyle. I can assure you.
I like that it's a little light up top. He almost, and this is a side view, he almost has a little mohawk going on, but it looks like he's bald on the sides, and it does kind of come into a beard. I almost like that idea. Like maybe he has a
Road Warriors kind of look.
Yeah.
Mad Max kind of.
or even just like a poof of hair up top,
like a small pompadour
in between his ears, and then you can kind of comes around and could coalesce into a beard,
like a puff of hair on top, and then it like kind of comes down to a beard.
I like the idea of it kind of thinning out on the sides while there is stuff coming off the top, just sort of like flowing out, almost like he's got an undercut underneath there.
Exactly. I almost like the kind of cheating the mouth muzzle area by covering it with the beard, and then you can give him whatever expression you want under there without having to think of how a Sonic character's muzzle works.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I like the tiger tail, but with the little poof of floof from a lion on the end for sure. Floof poof.
Full poof.
Da floof and then poofan.
Like, we still are kind of figuring out what this character's personality is. So I feel like the eyes will reflect whatever that is. Like if he's always tired, then he's going to have, real, bags under his eyes, just that very, that kind of expression of like, I don't want to be here. If he's more of a go-getter, if he's more of a go-getter like Sonic, he might have the mono eye, stuff like that.
I do wonder if the mono eye reflects a character's go-getterness.
Yeah.
I have to say, how many Sonic characters do actually have the mono eye? Because fewer than I thought, actually. Quite a few of them have the separated actual eyes. I guess Sonic and Shadow are the first two that come to mind. Amy as well, right? Is it a hedgehog
Yeah,
thing?
she does. I mean, Knuckles or
No,
not?
Knuckles are
I guess it
separate.
Knuckles
depends
is
on-
actual separate. I thought for the longest time that they were connected. I was wrong.
I thought so too,
Yeah.
but then I think I have seen plenty of modern expressions of Knuckles where if he arches his eyebrows, you can see he has separate eyes.
It is kind of funny that we're trying to work out his personality before the design. That's how Sonic characters are worked out. Come on.
True. Well, I like what you said, a few minutes ago about him being mostly a regular chill dude that has the world happens to them, but they're not completely helpless when stuff goes down. Almost like a like a reluctant beautiful Joe. Like that kind of just a bro, a guy, again trying. That sounds like very gendered language, but I think y'all know what I mean. But then maybe has, when the going gets tough, he can help the world in general, but he's not happy about it. He just wants to be a lazy piece of shit and play video games all day. Watch out for them stairs, bro.
Okay, I was wondering if this guy was going to represent us in any way.
Well, he has the
Does
beard.
seem to check. He is
I know.
white. Actually, we don't know if he's white, but I just get the impression from the Tygons that he might be a little white.
A little pale. Although I like the two-tone on some of the real Tygons.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. A nice ombre. I know you said we thought I drew glasses. Do they wear glasses?
Good question.
Some kind of corrective
how many
lenses.
How many Sonic characters actually wear glasses? I know Dr. Starline comes to mind, but he's a villain, so... And
There are definitely characters, I immediately think of Relic from post-reboot Archie.
okay, true.
Oh, yeah. Or does Knight the Owl wear glasses?
Yeah.
We were talking
Yeah.
about him before.
And also Sonic the Hedgehog sometimes wears sunglasses, so...
Yeah. Old Man Owl wore glasses, speaking of owls.
He sure did.
A symbol of senility, apparently.
Or intelligence. Well, not for Old Man Owl.
What are you talking about?
And I guess the play is let's start putting glasses on our designs and see how they look.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would a Sonic character wear glasses? Like this or like this?
Knuckles also famously wears his treasure hunting glasses in Sonic Adventure 2.
That's true.
And they kind of just float on they perch on his nose muzzle, which is, I think, unless you're going to give them, like Old Man Owl, giant swirly glasses that cover their whole face, I think the smaller glass, like reading-looking glasses, kind of has to be the style for them to be coherent. And where do those arms go? Nowhere. They just stick.
I'm looking at putting on the reading glasses now, and I do think it makes him look a little bit older.
Well, maybe we should give him some ear piercings to compensate for that.
I mean, he can be older. We're older.
True.
He's just sick of all these kids having opinions about things.
Kids and your TikToks, your Subway Surfers. I'm going to go play the Amiga.
Are you just calling out Dave Bowmer on this episode?
I couldn't help it. It was the first thing I thought of.
You should have gone with the ZX Spectrum. He is
Yeah.
he's a strictly specky kind of guy.
But is our character a strictly specky kind of guy? Let's try and get
Specky
these,
the
glasses
Tygon.
on him.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Specky the Tygon.
It would also fit if he ends up wearing glasses.
I think we can figure this one out quickly. I mean, even if he's wearing glasses, what eye color do we want him to have?
I mean, well, the default for Sonic characters is green. We know that. Could go with something else.
Do we want to give him the heterochromia?
Oh, I was gonna.
I mean, that is a highlight of OCs everywhere.
Yeah. Do we want to give like a fun reason for it? Oh, kind of like David Bowie. It's not really heterochromia. He just got punched really hard in the face and had a nerve nerve damage.
Well, our guy's reason is he's a Tygon.
Yeah. Could be if we want to tie that into the whole backstory.
Then their genetics.
Genetically, he has to be hetero.
Not on my watch.
This is a Sonic OC. We get to make these decisions.
Tied into his backstory. It's like, yeah, my everybody who knew him begged my parents not to get married and have kids, but here I am. Yeah, I can't see out of that eye either, so it's so wonderful. Yeah, not only were my parents a lion and a tiger, they were also first cousins.
God. Good Lord.
It's okay, Jeremy gets to say that.
Yeah. Jake knows what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like eye color is tied to like fur and body colors.
Yeah, you have to sort of like work out what compliments, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Orange and yellow. I promise I don't have jaundice.
Yeah, well, I think if we want to do like a cool like faded ombre from like, I mean, it could be like top to bottom, bottom to top of a like tiger orange into maybe a sandy lion color, and then maybe all the way up to like his ears are white, kind of like we see in this, this picture we're looking at right here. I think that would look good with anything that stood out, maybe blue. I mean, not to be too basic, but yeah, like the white and orange might.
I always feel like you could have a more saturated eye color to go with a more faded kind of.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like,
do we want to give him like a deeper brown for his hair beard than anything else?
To like stand it out from the rest of his body, or would we want it to blend more in to like it's like his whole face?
That's a good question.
That's just what I got from what we've been coming up with. Sort of went for the inverted egg shape for him.
Yeah.
Amalgamating what we got so far.
I like those like soft stripes on the sides of his body.
I feel like he could have some like big like feeler whiskers poking out on the the sides
Do
of his
Sonic
head.
characters have whiskers ever?
This guy can.
That's the thing I was unsure about.
The ones I can think of that sort of have whiskers are like, they are basically, kind of very pronounced, almost like part of the muzzle. Like, tails.
Yeah, like Blazing Big just have tails as muzzle as standing in for their whiskers. So I guess not. That would just be like an extra touch. Yeah, the only whiskers I can think of are from Archie characters like Hershey the cat, who...
No.
Yeah, never mind.
Basically, no.
No. So the answer is no.
Y'all notice how I'm not sure in mine at all?
Not yet.
I'm trying a couple of different colors right now to figure out what might make the most.
Because you don't want something too complicated.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
No.
even complicated Sonic characters, you can break down their color palettes pretty easy. Like Jewel. I think Jewel has a, because of her iridescence, but then you can flat that pretty easily if you really had to.
Sometimes when I'm coming up with a color scheme, I'll use like a color palette calculator to help me work that out.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always work out, but it gives you sometimes some harmonious colors or complementary colors or things that work well together. But then Sonic sort of operates under its own sort of like rule system, so at the end of the day, it's all about what looks good.
Everything is harmonious until it isn't. Like, oh, Sonic, he's a red, white, and blue with a little green and gold. And then, like, Shadow comes along, and he's, oh, okay, here we go. This guy's got stripes and complicated shoes.
Oh yeah, we never decided on eye color.
Yeah, we're working on colors in general.
Yeah. Okay. As far as clothes, we decided on glasses.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty, set on
Whittle gouaches.
Yeah.
And his attitude is like, what do we say? He's like kind of neutral. Like he's capable of defending, but he just wants to do his thing.
Capable but put upon. Like, oh man.
It's like my guy. I'm just trying to run down to the corner store, pick up, an ice cream bar and a box of Hot Pockets. Just let me get my day done without having to get attacked by a robot. For the love of God.
An egg pawn is smashing the bodega cashier over the head with their own cash register, and now I got to deal with this.
But I like the fact that I do like the idea of, because the character is slightly bulky, you get, but can hold their own in a fight. Probably doesn't want to, probably not in the mood for that half the time, but I do like the idea that we've got a slightly bulkier one who can do damage, can be the power member of a team if he actually committed to being a part of a team, which he will not, at least not right now.
Yeah, we'll just say he lifts, but it's more for it's more for a mental health thing.
It's for him. It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually write that down.
He's not going to outbox a Knuckles or outlift a Bark, but he's, like you said, he qualifies to be the power on a Sonic Heroes team. Man, speaking of Sonic OC history, I remember after Sonic Heroes, there was a race to which of those three categories does your OC fall into.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely
you can create unofficial teams.
Me and Jez were on a team back in the day.
Oh, I know. What was the was a silly goof 'em up name,
I think it was it was either Team Crazy or Sonic Weirdos, maybe both.
Yeah, those both sound very familiar. Sonic Weirdo, Sonic Weirdo.
Now that one, that's the final version. See, I do worry that maybe there's a bit too much contrast between the head and the body, because then it kind of looks like just a dude.
Yeah, that is a very Caucasian skin tone.
A little
for
bit.
that contrast. I am liking the neonness. In fact, I wonder, could we do their stripes in like a super faded blue instead of
I like
black
that
markings? If just to go with the kind of the neon themes. And I mean, I think the neon also works because, hey, we were just saying, the 90s, what was the decade where reigned supreme?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so this is what I've been working on.
Hell yeah. Look at that guy.
No, that's a great guy, actually. Listening audience, if you're not seeing this, we've got a palm tree looking guy who's with a red body and yellow stripes, but he looks radical and he's wearing sunglasses.
Well, I think, Jake, I'm not kidding when I say I think you've captured the attitude of our time.
I might
just
steal your colors.
This is a guy, I think, who walks into the bodega to get an egg sandwich, sees an egg pawn trying to murder the cashier, and is like, oh, man.
This again.
Man, come on.
One day this week. Just one day this week.
Like, he's already sore because yesterday he broke his bench press goal. But now he's doing a rest day. He hasn't drunk his coffee or his water this morning.
I can relate
Just
to
needs
that.
to get that sweet fried egg sandwich.
I can relate to that.
Do not talk to him until he's had his coffee.
Or his egg
he has that t-shirt.
I can relate to that because I pushed myself a little bit harder than usual in the gym the other day, and I'm still feeling it.
Oh man, I am so bad, not to go off on a tangent, but I'm so bad at timing my like pre and post workout meals. Like I try and have my big protein shake less than an hour before I go to the gym, but then also try and finish to where it's right before lunch. And man, the other day I was like halfway through a set and was like, uh-oh, my vision is closing in around me. I better stop and go home and eat.
I thought it was going to be, uh-oh, I'm about to fill my pants. I need to get to the bathroom.
I know. That's why you have the coffee. Oh yeah, those colors do look, yeah, I like that contrast better.
Yay, I contributed.
Everyone contributes something.
Exactly.
Here.
Yes.
Color schemes are difficult.
Yeah, don't I know it?
Man, you hit the nail on the head with the palm tree looking dude.
Sorry, it's just what first came to mind when I saw this guy.
I meant to say at the top, like, I am not a good artist by any stretch of the imagination, so please feel free to laugh at my drawings. I will not be offended.
I mean, what it might be
there's so
it
much.
might be an interesting contrast if we use kind of the more muted colors from Jake's version, but then all of the accessories have the more kind of neon of Chris's colors.
Yeah,
I like that.
We are spending a lot of time on the visuals.
Yeah.
We'll get to the bottom of this, I think.
I know, and yes, this will be another one where maybe we can finagle the podcast art along with the YouTube version. We'll see, but this are finished. All of these will get posted with the episode on some
Probably Blue Sky. And then also, like,
God, Jake, yours reminds me of the I don't even know what to call them. I'm not going to use the internet words, but the the elder millennial riding the riding lawnmower with the Monster energy drink while his younger child is trying to sleep in on Saturday. That is that guy. Those are the vibes I'm getting in a good way.
Homeowner Tygon.
I was gonna say, what, like, do we want to just give him sort of the generic Sonic accessories, that style of gloves and shoes or anything, or do we want to give him something a little more out there?
Well, we did say he does like to lift. Do we want to do some like fingerless lifting gloves just to be cool?
Oh, yeah.
I know that was also an OC thing back in the day. Was like, no, I've got fingerless gloves.
I like that idea.
I can get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need to confirm something before we continue with that to know if we're really getting into the OC spirit. There is a certain thing I need to Google.
Is it how sexy you can make paw pads?
Okay, yeah, Cold Steel the Hedgehog does have fingerless gloves, of course.
Yes!
Yeah, there we go.
But no, if our Tygon has fingerless gloves, then we can give, one of his abilities could be he's got some claws.
Yeah.
If so. I always like on, smaller cats' claws, very sharp, they come out, but bigger cats, I love how the claws are sharp, but they're like just big and chunky looking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about like the Tiger Sanctuary videos that I've watched where like they'll be, they'll just be doing the cat thing of like scratching on something and they're hidden in the paw, they come out, but they're big old honking claws.
Yeah. Trying to see how it would be the best way to illustrate that. You just maybe put a connected claw on the end of a long Sonic character sausage finger.
Just thinking about like the fact that while more often than not the actual animal aspects of an animal aren't really there in Sonic characters, I think about how like Whisper the Wolf, when she's angry and upset, turns into a full-on feral-looking wolf, and I like that. So that's kind of the thing we could go with here, where, well, he's got some actual claws and he can destroy you if need be. He just doesn't want to half the time.
Right.
Because afterwards he's gonna be very tired, need to sleep it off.
One part of our like character bio sheet thing that we put in our thing here is tech parts. Do we want him to have any tech parts or just nah?
Yeah, I like that category though, because it reminds me we were just talking about Bunny with Abby, and that's another thing I kind of wish was more in the current Sonic universe.
Do you miss that? Because I feel like Archie really leaned into that after a while, even during the reboot stuff.
I do kinda, because Bunny Rabbit is the queen example of a, like you said, someone with a potential disability, but is not completely defined by it. Like, I love how Abby pointed out that, yes, that was a big point of Bunny's character early on, was like, wow, I just don't know what to do with all, I just want to be cured. And then it gets to a point to where it's like, oh no, this is who I am. And I'm using my different abilities to the, for the best for me and my friends. And another great example I thought were the and again, I've said this before, Heartbroken will never see the complete ending to their story, but the Pronghorn sisters.
Yeah, those immediately came to mind for me. They were like, what was going on with them? They were roboticized, right?
One was I can't remember if she was very had some kind of degenerative disease or was like very injured, but was fully roboticized to preserve her life. But then because of that is literally enslaved by Dr. Eggman, and her sister knows that and is like, I don't like being one of Eggman's mini bosses. I know this is wrong, but without him, my sister would be dead. And I think that's interesting. I wonder where could that fit with our Tygon here? Is there something
I've got an idea.
Appropriate and not too slapped on, I guess.
So I've got an idea based on like the attitude we've already come up with. What if his ears are robotic, and like if he's in a situation where he's just kind of like sick of like all the people around him and everything, he can like just turn his ears off, but that can also give him the power of like super hearing, like he can like amplify it.
Yeah, like he has like hearing implants, but also it is a can be kind of a superpower.
Yeah, it's like robotic cochlear implants.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't even have to be, like, we don't have to stick robot ears on him, but like something that might be visible from a certain angle.
Just kind of robo hearing aids, like cool hearing aids, but cool is not that there's anything wrong with having hearing aids, but you know what I mean.
It's Sonic's world, so like he doesn't have to worry about them going out of date, or the company that makes the app that lets him control the hearing going out of business. But it would require some like routine maintenance, maybe.
Yeah.
And like, I almost could see like a, old 90s Spider-Man animated, like, whoops, forgot to bring extra cartridges for my web shooters. Like, oh man, I didn't finish my monthly diagnostic and they're glitching out on me or something. Like, boy, I sure am glad Tails is around and works on these things, but he because he runs everything, he pushes his final code out sometimes a little too early.
The price of being an early adopter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did have the thought where we were talking of like Tails' like side thing when he's not helping save the world is like helping make implants and other like things for like robotic things for people who taking
the technology he's developed in the fight for Eggman to like help the rest of not humanity,
Furmanity.
Humanity.
I like the color of those gloves and the shoes.
Yeah, I've updated it.
Oh yeah, that does look really good.
I like the fingerless gloves too. That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's
Gotta
cool.
have the fingerless gloves. They are cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how do we feel about, I guess not necessarily robotic ears, but just like robotic implants for his ears?
Yeah, let's see. How would be the best way to illustrate that? Maybe something coming from the ear, and if we do want to commit to giving him like you said, like a cool undercut side cut, it could like just be hanging out on like the back of his head or something.
Oh, you mentioned piercings earlier. What if the piercings are the implant?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you could have like
maybe even have the implants, and then maybe one non-medical accessory. Now I do want to go back to, I think it was a happy accident, your color palette generator gave you trans colors, Faulerro. I mean, I'm not opposed to him being a trans guy.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool. I know we're all mostly a bunch of cis crackers, but just because, hey, I know some trans guys who, yes, like to lift recreationally because sometimes that makes you hungry as a motherfucker and you got to pick up heavy stuff.
I mean, I'm down for adding some diversity here.
I don't, just thinking like artistic. I mean, if we want to just do like 2 little marks on his chest that kind of look like top surgery scars, or I've seen people do that.
Well, how about, and I hope I'm not being stereotypical in any way, but like based on his attitude and like the way he conducts himself, what if he's like non-binary? Like,
yeah, that works too. I mean, I learn new things every day. There is trans, non-binary, all that kind of thing. Or, you know what I mean? Sorry, that sounded really dismissive. But yes, it doesn't have to be. Yes, we are. Do not have to be slavish to the binary at all.
Like if he.
Because it's a fan character, we were allowed to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah. In a perfect world where nobody gives a fuck. In a good way.
Like the way he conducts himself, like he's like born assigned male, but he's like okay with like clothes and outward representations that kind of, go into that. But I very much relate to that a lot. Like I kind of discovered that not too long ago. It's like, I mean, I look like a big dude. I don't mind being a big dude, but I have no like connection to male as a gender or expression, you know what I mean? Yeah, I like that too. Okay, cool.
No, I do feel like this is the kind of character who would end up in that meme situation of someone being like, well, so you're non-binary, you don't have any binary? And it's like, yep, that's so
cool. No, and I hope people know we're not making fun. In fact, I'm laughing because the first time I saw that, it was like a Fluttershy the pony going, "Oh, you're non-binary? Me too. That's so cool." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. That's great." Sometimes you just need your favorite fictional character to be affirming.
And to be fair, I'm pretty sure our character would respond to somebody going to that like, "Look, dude, I just asked for my coffee."
Exactly. I'm trying to get breakfast. Yeah, sure. We can talk about it later.
Fang the sniper is like serving coffee as a side hustle. He's like, "Are you one of those?" No, I'm going to stop here.
Fang would be like, "You what do they call it these days? You non-binary? Like you got none of those?
No numbers?"
Yeah, man. He's confused, but he's got the right idea.
He's a little confused, but he got the spirit.
And Fang, hey, look, I got no problem with that. I'm just saying.
I'm just curious.
This is all new to me. I do have to kill you, though. Someone hired me.
It's non-discriminatory, I hope you understand. It's just for the money.
I wouldn't care, boy, girl, whatever. I'm still gonna kill you and get paid.
Sorry, I'm thinking about the part in Sonic Frontiers where Eggman was like wondering about the Sage's pronouns.
Oh yeah.
Imagine he was like, "Sage, are you one of those non-binary?" "No, Father. I am composed largely of binary. I mix up a great deal of my code." Oh, I like your guy here. Jeremy. I love the teeth. I've kind of made the guy look very soft, but you've gonna lean into the wild side a little bit.
Just a little bit. I think a combination of all of these, definitely.
Yeah, I think that all of our designs so far have at least one thing that we'd want to, kind of fuse together.
God, what if their name just was Tygon?
I mean, I feel like that's a little safe.
Yeah, a little too safe, because then you'd be like, they're Tygon the cat, and we specifically wanted like an exotic cat. Yeah, not Tony the
God, no.
See, I'm just arguing with myself now. Where I think we've established a pretty good. We are nailing down character traits now.
I'm wondering if we want to give him cleats.
Yeah, I was trying to
maybe.
think of something for the shoes
Oh, like
too.
werehog cleats?
It will kind of add to the spiky design we've got going on with like the teeth and everything and the stripes.
I just can't help myself. If a character canonically has fangs, then they're gonna poke out in a cute way if I draw them. I don't want anyone to confirm nor deny if they told the artists on the comics to stop doing that with Sonic or Shadow, because I'll be heartbroken.
The thing about Sonic characters is if they're male, they're not allowed to wear clothing other than gloves and shoes. So.
And and the occasional accessory.
Because even when Antoine was redesigned for Archie, they had to like remove his shirt. Not allowed. And maybe some people were into that.
Bunny was.
Although, well, yeah. I'm actually who also breaks that rule is villains. Dr. Starline, Clutch the Opossum,
right.
dressed to the nines.
You're right. For some reason that never occurred to me. Yeah, you've got to be a villain to wear clothes because the original sin and all that.
Original sin means your genitals become apparent to the average person.
Now, see, here's the thing. We did need some elements to make this character more interesting, because there's only so much you can do with shoes and gloves. So I thought we could add this element to really bring out what makes the character for me. As soon as it decides to load, there we go.
A large yellow t-shirt that says "Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee," with a adorable little coffee cup illustration. Talking seriously, I mean, I promise this is not just me injecting my own proclivities, but what if he did have you talked about, because I guess redesign Antoine, those are technically the scabbards for his swords,
right?
Where he has that little cross thing. I mean, what if our guy had like a vest, or is a mesh tank top too far? Is that too far in a direction?
I like the idea of a vest, especially because at work I wear a vest every day because it's got extra pockets and I can hold like different stuff in there, whether it's equipment or it's my own medicines and stuff like that.
Listen, if we're allowed to make this character non-binary, we can give them a vest.
And you know what? It is the 3rd anniversary. Leather vest.
I said the start of the show, and we managed to make our way back.
Leather vest and a hat See, I was thinking the whole mesh vest. I was thinking is like, well, that kind of goes with the 90s.
Although wearing a vest would cover up the stripes a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm even thinking of, not like a little Aladdin vest, but maybe a vest. See, that's why I like how Faulerro, you drew them up here, like compared to mine, is more, like you said, that inverted egg. Like I might redraw mine to be a little stockier. So it could be a vest that stops like almost right before his gloves start. Like I said, not a little vest, but it looks little on him. And I like Jake saying that maybe it is for practicality. Like, well, I need pockets. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, listening audience, if you're wondering why we're spending so much time on the visuals during this audio medium, please understand the visuals are so important to creating a Sonic character, like even more so than the personality at times. So unfortunately, that's a lot of this is going to be is like, how do we make them look even more cool?
If there's one thing we've discovered over the recently doing this show, is that is 100% true to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Another positive to the vest, I'm realizing, somewhere to put all sorts of, pins and other accessories.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Like put patches on the vest.
Oh, yeah. We're just making like a dude who used to be in like the punk skater scene and now he's like a responsible adult.
Yeah, he used to bash open those item boxes to get the little skateboard inside and City Escape. But,
I mean, maybe that's what it is that, Sonic's big heyday was the 90s. Maybe this is realistically somebody who was, young in the 90s that has matured over the years and is just like kind of, I guess I did the, thing back in the day, but whatever. I really just need my coffee this morning.
I used to be able to do it.
Well, like another thing we discovered right before we started, speaking of Night the Owl, is he has both a appearance in classic and modern Sonic, and his overall design is mostly unchanged. So we could say our classic Tygon character design is almost exactly the same, except they're much happier. Maybe a little less buff and stocky and much happier. And now they're just, like you said, let's just do the damn thing, man.
Sorry, when you brought up the leather vest, I did just... And this will just be funny to Jake, but... That's right, he was around during the 90s.
Yeah!
Big Stone Cold
Luke and Faulerro going with the Austin, the Stone Cold vest.
Oh,
Unintentionally, I assure you.
Oh, did you hear that, Eggman? That sumbitch is back again.
Tygon 316.
So one thing I did kind of consciously do on my version is I wanted to only kind of keep the stripes from like, the mid-waist down. Because if you look at the pictures we've got of real Tygons, the stripes are not super pronounced on the front paws, the front legs.
I kind of like that too. Like even put more like stripes and spots like on their lower half, their tail, and then they just kind of fade out. Maybe maybe they could do like a little I don't know, a design that kind of ends like halfway up the chest or something. Like what would you call it? A reverse treasure trail?
I feel like the design is almost there.
Hot take. This is a fun thing that we're doing today.
Everyone listening to this episode on YouTube, be sure to take a look at the little screen because I'm sure Luke is going to add those to the video version. And everyone listening to the MP3, sorry.
We'll do our best.
I will try to remember to include a bunch of these WIP things. So I feel like it's basically there. Now we just kind of need to amalgamate the bits and pieces that we like from everybody's designs. So the way I ended up doing the implants is I basically have them going as little, almost like half rings around the ears. So I don't know if that's what we want to go with or if we want to like do it.
I meant to say I like that. Almost like, I forget what that kind of earring is called. I think it's called a cuff.
I think that's right.
I think it's kind of what Mina Mongoose. No, she had like small loopy earrings. I don't think she had cuffs.
Yeah, she had a bunch.
Now we can't bring up Mina the Mongoose too long while Jake is here, who will get very horny.
Damn, shots fired.
Shots taken.
I mean, to be fair, lots of people would.
I'll take those shots.
So did Mina.
Draw Mina the Mongoose again sometime.
Like you said, like they've taken like their implant that they have, are always wearing and kind of accessorized it with maybe one or two other ear piercings. Yeah. Again, very, very 90s. Yeah. I remember I wanted my ears pierced in the 90s. Didn't work out.
I like the cuff idea.
I might have to get me this one.
Whoa.
That's very spiky.
Like a bunch of spikes that just go all around.
I feel like Rough or Tumble would have that.
I was going to say, wear a Mega Man death trap on your ear.
Yeah.
I think Rough and Tumble would, but they would be clip-ons.
Yeah.
They would both be too scared. They would walk into Claire's or Limited 2 and be like,
does it hurt?
Just a little bit, hon. You can put some ice on it.
No, I don't want to. We'll take this one.
And Rough would be like, you're such a baby.
Well, you're going to get yours?
Of course not. It hurts.
I'm taking the clip-on.
I came in here and I started to crumble. We're getting out of here. That's just
one of my think my favorite panel with those two goobers is literally the issue after the metal virus has been banished, and Tangle is helping, just running around helping people, and helps them out of a pit with her tail, of course.
Yeah.
And while she's talking to Ruff, Tumble, who famously has lost his tail in a horrible accident, is just staring at it going, "It's so funny.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fair."
We kind of spent so much time on the visuals, we kind of forgot about half of the things that we've written down here. This is potential things. Oh no, wait! I suppose technically we've got powers for this character. That was
yeah,
like
we've been filling in.
I mean, we know it's the special hearing with their special ears, not to be used with special
My
eyes.
brand. I made sure to write down above average.
Meaty claws. Oh yeah, above average
Yeah.
strength. Like we said, he's not going to win like a boxing match with Knuckles or outlift like Bark, but I would say he could probably beat Storm the Albatross in an arm wrestling contest.
Yeah, he could defeat an egg pawn in like 3 hits, maybe like 3 strong hits.
Yeah, nice combo move.
Could beat Stormy Albatross in a basic trivia contest or something.
Yeah, because Storm's a... God, what is Storm's character other than he's another big dumb guy?
That's it. He's the
Not
bruiser.
it. Yeah.
That's yeah.
The bruiser.
I got to revisit those games. I'm a little scared too.
They feel relevant right
Yeah, I was
now.
gonna say I want to at least do the first one before Crossworlds comes out, because that's the good one.
I think it's kind of like people love those games, and I think rightfully so because of the aesthetic. But I'm afraid to go back and actually try playing them. But I mean, that's kind of the show, right? I had that with Sonic Heroes and Shadow, and it turned out pretty okay in both instances. So
I mean, I will always go to bat for the first one because I've gone back to those games a couple of times over the years, and they've held up pretty well.
yeah, I'll never forget the first one. I 100% completed everything, unlocked Supersonic, and then the next day booted it up and my save file corrupted.
Oh,
so I did it all again.
no.
Did it all again.
One thing that we'll never be able to take away from that first game, hell of an opening sequence. Though.
Oh, yeah.
The animated.
Oh, yeah, that's
Studio IG.
Yeah, Production IG just firing on all cylinders.
Yep, it is absolutely gorgeous, and I mean has stood the test of time where people, I mean, even it took so long for the people clamoring for it. Now we are getting badass animated intros for a lot of games now.
I think this episode is like our most just bros hanging out and doing a thing episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm all about
I think we're there. It definitely will get cut down quite a lot, but I mean, I think if we're ready to fill in the rest of these, and of course, I think we left the hardest for last. Is we got to come up with a name.
Yeah. Nothing will ever beat Suck the Cock, but you know.
Yeah. Or Donut Steel. That's up there, man.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, who first envisioned Donut Steel? It's been around so long.
I couldn't even begin to tell you.
I think I might be lost to time, but it gets applied a lot. I remember, keep bringing it back to My Little Pony. Sombra, the villain, gets accused of being a Donut Steel because he's just cool looking, but there's nothing there. Has zero personality.
So I did revise the colors a little bit, added a little bit more of the vest. So
Oh.
Oh, that's oh man, I like those.
I like the Sonic Heroes
man,
logo.
I want me a Chaos
Oh,
Emerald
that's
pin
good.
/ embroidering.
Oh, because they played Sonic Heroes and they were still holding on a bit.
Yes, maybe that was the last one they did. Again, calling out Dave Ballmer.
it's also just like, a reliable, kind of symbol you can stick on there without it being tied too heavily to like an actual character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things IDW has done recently is incorporated just the Sonic Hero iconography into real technology with Starline.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite part of the the Bad Guys miniseries. Just Starline using the power cores.
So I also changed the hues on the eyes. Is that closer to what you had in mind, or?
Yeah, I think that just blends in with the rest of the palette better.
Fair enough.
So what does this person do?
Yeah,
we have like jobs / societal role written on there.
Yeah. I had like two thoughts. Like one could be like, one could be that this person's in construction or they have some sort of like tech job.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking something along the same lines.
Don't say
that
podcaster.
they...
Don't say podcaster. Don't say podcaster.
No. well, sir.
Well,
their personal exercise and lifting is like for them. Like we said, it is something they enjoy doing. So to make it part of their work, I think would maybe be a little counterintuitive. Because again, I can relate.
I like to think maybe this character used to be a lot more active because they were doing skateboarding and cool stuff back in the day. They like to skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Tygon pooped his pants.
Nowadays, draws pornography.
Yeah.
Because that's a valid way to live.
They're very well off now.
Yeah.
They have like a regular day job, but like at night they're a streamer and they go by the name of Tythero. Because he's a Tygon.
They're Irish, but you can barely tell until you hear them say certain words. No.
Start talking about what game they're going to play next. No. See that where he's from Liverpool to tie it together to earlier. But everyone, I'm streaming tonight. Going to play some Sonic Heroes. It's actually all right when you play it once or twice.
I've got a couple mods installed, but it's mostly cosmetic. Although I do like the idea of like him also having the Crazy Taxi announcer voice.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was the initial.
This could be his podcast. This is his streamer voice.
Yeah,
And it gets very tiring after.
Yeah.
He regretted coming. He's like a guy I know called Crimbo online. He was like, "Oh man, I really regret doing this character voice for every time I stream, so I'm not going to do that all the time now."
Oh no.
I was gonna say he's got a little packet of lozenges sitting next to his desk at all times.
Some fisherman's friend. Some Hulk juice.
I mean, maybe he is a radio DJ similar to Knight.
Because I do want to go back to, I can't remember, were we recording when we talked about like how Sonic society seems to be post-scarcity, if not full-scale outer space gay communism, like they're on their way to it. So as far as him having like a job that he gets paid, money so he can live, I don't know about that. But I like potentially the streamer idea.
Sorry, you just say that, but then there's Vector the Crocodile is always in need of rent, so what the hell happened to him that he's in this world?
Let's say Vector, he made a bad deal with a djinn to where he and his family are the only ones that worry about capitalism until the end of time. No, I don't know how you explain Vector, except like maybe he's just he just wants a new TV real bad.
So I'm going to say, yeah, he made a bad deal with Jin. He's been doing it every night for the past 15 years.
Jesus Christ.
And every time he gets close to having enough money for a new TV, Charmy like spends it all on Roblox.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, here we go. No, Vector, he doesn't need money for rent. He needs money so he can be Vanilla the Rabbit's #1 contributor on, let's see, a Sonic themed streaming site.
Oh.
It's nothing explicit.
Only Rabbit.
It's just, you want to be the #1 donator. You hate to, when you run into someone in the real world, you give him a hug and he says, "Oh yeah, it's nice to see you again, Vector, #3."
So he's a simp.
So that's why Vector needs money. No.
Vector the Simpadile.
Pay the pig. A new OC.
I'm not like shaming people for living that lifestyle. I just don't know if I could imagine Vanilla doing anything other than maybe cooking streams.
See, that's what I mean, though. It's completely, yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't have anything against that lifestyle either. I'm just like, man, got that much fucking money? Dude, I'll whip it out. I'll be #1. Yeah, oh, you're my #1 piggy daddy. Yes, sure. Just make sure that check clears. No, I do not accept PayPal.
The only thing vanilla is whipping out is cream. Wait, no, damn it!
Okay, I have an idea for like a quote-unquote day job for our character. What if he's a carpenter? So like he doesn't have to do construction, but like he can still like help with building things.
I could see
like,
that.
Yeah, like he can be commissioned to like make a table or make some sort of wooden structure, but he can also like just make his own things. Like, hey, I'm going to make a bat and get good at baseball.
Yeah,
and uses that bat occasionally.
Yeah,
make a custom rack for my free weights. Or, I mean, you could say, oh, like you said, back in the 90s, young, dumb, and full of ambition. And he's got and got an engineering degree, and then realized the second they graduated, I wish I hadn't have done that, but puts it to good use by taking up woodworking and but they're not opposed to modern technology, like, hey, Tails and all of his electronics, but likes the sometimes the fusion of traditional woodworking and like modern technology. Our Tygon is the kind of person who would mod a console to have like a beautiful polished wood grain in it, like the old Ataris.
Yeah.
And I think it is kind of fitting that our personal OC is a carpenter, because who else was a famous carpenter who went on to great things? That's right, Jesus the Hedgehog, as we've established previously on this podcast.
Jesus the Tygon. I just saw a post where someone said, imagine the reaction from people who only knew Jesus professionally. Honey, did you hear they crucified our carpenter? He was still working on our dining set. What are we going to do now?
Like any good carpenter, he keeps in shape because he'll walk 1,000 miles and then he'll walk 1,000 miles. So I keep misgendering our character that we came up with. That's not, to be fair,
I've been
still
trying
in
to
development.
go back and forth between.
So it seems like a he/they, situation.
Yeah, if we want to just commit to that,
I'm willing to commit to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, like if you use the correct pronoun of like they them, like that's bonus points. But he's really like nonplussed about like if you use he.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, we're just coming back to like, yes, very relatable. I do not mind pouring myself into our original character.
Jeremy the Tygon.
Now, does he have a tattoo of Sonic the Hedgehog on his arm like I do?
I feel that's a bit weird when Sonic's real.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Then again, I've seen people who do that with real people.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like if you get a tattoo,
it's weird.
Yeah, if you get a tattoo of a real person or a celebrity on your arm, people are going to look at you a little funny.
I'm sure someone in that world has Sonic tattooed, and they're like, well, he saved the world. Like,
but a lot of those people are also covered in fur.
Yeah. Does Amy Rose have a Sonic tattoo that she has covered up by clothing and or fur?
She has a Sonic tramp stamp
revealed to anyone.
She'll never tell.
Hey, I've seen some art from one of my friends recently. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. No, it was on that one cat that she shaved.
It would be Amy Rose's Sonic tramp stamp would just be the banner title screen from Sonic 1, but right above her tail. Oh, I'm sorry, Amy. You get whatever tattoo you want, honey.
And then she's like, just go up, down, left, right, and start.
To unlock my heart.
So for backstory, so far I've got male presenting non-binary, got an engineering degree, and though they couldn't get a job out of college, they pivoted to doing commission work with it. Do we want to add much more backstory or just leave it at that?
Yeah, most Sonic characters probably don't have this much,
right.
Like your average Sonic character.
I would say put in the little bit we came out of, like, hey, back in the classic days, design is relatively unchanged, except they were a little less bulky and definitely happier.
Less bulky, less bearded.
Yes, less bulky, less bearded, more optimistic.
Sorry, just thinking back in the classic era is like the platonic term for the 90s.
Basically.
Used to skateboard.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely used to skateboard.
Gave it up when he fell down and pooped his
It just keeps coming back.
And his friend Derek wouldn't stop laughing.
I mean, now nobody will believe me when you say I quit. I didn't quit because I pooped my pants. I also used to skateboard and quit when we moved neighborhoods and the street was not conducive to it. And then I got too old and too big and realized if I ever bail off this thing again, I will die instantly. It'll just be like a Gmod ragdoll when I hit the ground.
You'll clip through the ground.
Yes.
By the way, sorry, you were saying.
No, I was saying that noise everybody knows will play.
On a related note, there absolutely is a Tony the Hawk in the Sonic universe, right?
Oh, yes.
And nobody knows it's him.
Yes.
Are you Tony the Hawk?
Was that Jet's given name and he changed it because he thought Jet would be more cool?
You think it was a little bit too on the nose or the beak?
Yeah.
Well, they keep talking. Well, in the story, Jet keeps bringing up his dad, who they never actually name. Yeah, the last thing on our outline is canonicity, and I think that there's really no reason that this character could not comfortably fit into like the game IDW verse.
Why not?
Yeah.
One of those cities, the Restoration has a base in. I do not see why not. Maybe they live in Sunset Heights after it was all repaired.
The main reason that this couldn't be in the actual canon is because we're a bunch of fans who made this, and there's a whole load of legal mumbo jumbo that they need to
Yes.
that they cannot risk. But no, like within the world that maybe within our ideal world, this character is there in the Sonic's world.
Sonic's World.
It would hinge on us doing the thing that so many other comic artists have done and just sneaking their OCs into crowd shots. So until one of us draws an issue of IDW, it's not going to happen.
And then they get popular and get a unchanging canon design like Lanolin.
We'll just sneak this over to Abby Bulmer and see what happens.
So yeah, the last thing we need is an honest to goodness name.
A name, yep.
Yeah, that was the first thing in the list, I think. And no, that's what we need to come back to.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Sonic names. They're tricky. You can't just call them Dave. George. You could, but that would be very funny.
Unless it's Sonic Boom.
Yeah, well, we're operating under the, I guess, actual Sonic names of the time and in the games and IDW now. So, what's the guideline for that? Because sometimes it's a verb, sometimes it's just a concept, a noun.
But it's usually tied into something about their character, whether it is a physical attribute, their profession, their general action.
How about lift the Tygon?
I was thinking lumber myself.
Ooh, lumber the Tygon.
Oh,
good.
shit. Yes!
I think that's it.
I like
Lumber's
that.
it, actually, I think. Lumber the Tygon.
Lumber the
And
Tygon.
it just flows.
The woodworking, the
way he walks.
I tend to lumber as a bigger fella. You can be described as lumbering.
And Lumber's just a little bit off Timber the Tiger, so I guess that little callback to Diddy Kong Racing a little bit. So, rawr.
God, I think that's it.
I think that might be
I
it.
think you got it.
Man,
I also kind of like the fact that it's L, and to contrast with, he's not a Liger, he's a Tygon, but you say Ligers and Tygons, lumber the Tygon.
oh yeah.
Not really playing on words, but kind of in my Swiss cheese brain.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I think this works.
Lumber the Tygon. All right. Lumber the Tygon.
Lumber the Tygon.
Holy shit.
Dude, we did it. We made an OC.
We sure did. I am hella satisfied with the results.
Non-binary king, Lumber the Tygon.
Hell yeah, good for them. We made an OC, guys, and I am super proud of it.
We got there. Okay, we got it. Bye-bye.
Pretty good.
This character could almost represent the podcast as well, because
I think so.
some of us have issues with our gender sometimes in the concept of it, so
Hell
represents
yeah.
us in many ways.
I think there is a little bit of every one of us in different ways in this design.
Oh, I like your little design there, Jeremy, with the stripes getting stronger as it goes down.
Yeah.
What I imagine is like just a combination of like stripes and spots that like start probably at the feet at the bottom, and just kind of disappear as you get about halfway up there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to like amalgamate all the different elements from all four of our different designs for this character into the canonical lumber design so that people have
Right.
something to do
biblical.
fan art of, please. We would love it.
A reference sheet.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So every time Jake's version of the character shows up, it fills me with such joy.
Yes, that needs to be on the shelf in our podcast art.
I like to think this is something a kid drew of Lumbo. It's like, oh, that's great, kid.
This is like 9-year-old Jake's first DeviantArt post.
Gonna put it right up on the podcast fridge.
Yeah. Lumber the Tygon. His palm tree hair.
Well, we did it, folks. We managed to make an OC. I'm actually surprised we did that. So if you're a fan, if you enjoy Lumber the Tygon and our process of making, maybe next making them, whatever works for the character, we're still like ironing the character out, but hey, maybe we'll do this again sometimes and have ourselves a whole Sonic Heroes team. That would be pretty fun.
Rest assured, this will not be the last time you see Lumber on this podcast.
Heck yeah.
Yep. Powerful character and the power member of the team, I'm assuming. But until the next time we do that sort of thing, you can find us all across the internet, probably. You can find me at Faulerro, that's Faulerro.
Love that jingle. You can find me on socials as RockTheJake, and you can find me on Twitch as Mr. RockTheJake.
You can find me all across the internet at CyberLink420.
And you can find me on Blue Sky as jeremybaker.actor and around the rest of the internet as GameBuddy, sometimes with a 123.
And special thanks, as always, to Amy Waters for the use of our theme song from the album Gotta Go Slow. You can check out more of her work on YouTube and Bandcamp. You can find her on the socials at Amy Waters Music. And hey, the Bandcamp thing, if it's Friday, and it is when this episode comes out at least, there's a thing you can do on that, something about Fridays and Bandcamp and money. I think I got it right, didn't I?
More or less.
Bandcamp Friday, all the proceeds go to the artist, so please buy all of Amy's things. Do it twice, because why not?
Yeah, see, that's more or less what I was trying to say. And remember, all the begging stuff that we usually do. Subscribe, review, share, whatever. Just do all the things that if you like this and you like our OC creation stuff, let us know about it and give us your support if you feel like it, because that's all we've got going for us. And if you like Lumber, especially let us know, because we're quite proud of what we put together in about just under 2 hours. But next time on this podcast,
Quick call out to the audience. Like, if you have your own OC that you're proud of, share it with us on social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Please do.
yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of something that I didn't even get to talk about at the beginning with the history of my OCs, is to go with that, like, edgy teen phase where sincerity is stupid. I did used to think like, oh man, original characters are so lame, and everybody is who has one. And I have completely flipped on that to where I'm like, no, anytime I see anyone create an original character for anything, I'm like, hell yes, go for it. It makes me want
For
to do
real.
it too. So
Yeah, if you haven't come to that this episode, like, thinking, like, we don't think OCs are cool. Oh no, we do. That's why we spent so much time on this. Absolutely embrace your creative drives to the things that you love.
Yeah.
And if it's Sonic, all the better, because we love Sonic. But next time on The Hill is Always Greener, we are going to cover a game that we've not covered yet, and many people probably haven't even played, because it is not available officially just about anywhere unless you have a 32X to slot on your Mega Drive / Genesis, because yes, we are talking about the one game from that people know about. We are talking about Knuckles Chaotix.
It's finally time.
Oh my goodness.
I'd say it's the origin for certain characters, but then I remembered some of them actually existed before this. But it's what most people might have known about them from, maybe not, but not really, because they didn't play this one. I'm interested to talk about this one because I think it is sorry to give away the point early. It's a flawed game, but it is an interesting game, and it was a bold direction, maybe a bit too bold, but I'm happy to talk about this one and replay it. And I'm sure it'll be the first time Jake has put his hands on it, so that's going to be interesting.
I'm hoping to play it fully. I have never finished a full playthrough, and I hopefully would like to back up my assertion that if Chaotix had been treated like Sonic CD was, it might be considered in the pantheon of classic Sonics. But I don't know. I don't know if I can fully back that up.
It's in an interesting position where, I've only played it on real hardware once. I know Jeremy was there for that, but
yeah, we both did.
But it's such a unique, weird beast that I think it's going to result in some really interesting discussion, because it's really one of those things that needs to be experienced to be understood, because it's it's going to take some time to really get to grips with it, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an unsung masterpiece like another Sonic game, but it's definitely well, you either hate it or you're absolutely crackers about it. Sonic crackers, that is. Anyway, but that's next time on our podcast, talking about a Knuckles thing. Surely it's good, right? We'll find out. But until then, I have been Faulerro.
I'm RockTheJake.
I'm CyberLink.
And I'm GameBuddy. So, what should I wear? My pink camouflage gear or the safari suit?
Nice.
That's us coming up with the design for our character.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, this has been The Hill is Always Greener, and we'll see you on the other side.
And Lumber the Tygon will be there too.
Yeah,
sure will.
Yeah.
Well, when a mommy rabbit and a daddy rabbit and the daddy rabbit's friend and the guy holding the camera and the other person sitting in the chair all love each other very much.
This is all getting cut.
Yeah.